We are going to begin with the head. You're going to make one of them. We're going to do a magic ring for round 1 and do 6 single crochets inside of that magic ring. So go ahead and get your purple yarn. We're going to have about 2 to 3 inches right here, and then we're going to pinch it with our pointer finger and our thumb, and then you're going to wrap it around 3 fingers. Continue wrapping to create an X, and then pinch with your pinky. Once you have done that, go ahead and insert your hook underneath, grab the yarn, and then I like to support with my pointer finger, and then grab that working yarn again, and you're going to pull it through. Sometimes it doesn't want to go through, but we're going to pull it through just like that, and that is going to do your chain right here, and this is our magic ring. So inside the magic ring it says we want to do 6 single crochets. So to do your first single crochet, we're going to go ahead and insert our hook into the hole, and then grab our working yarn, pull it up. I now have 2 on there. We're going to yarn over and pull through those 2. This just created your first single crochet. So on the first single crochet of each row, we want to add a stitch marker. So go ahead and put your stitch marker in that one, and then we're going to do 5 more. So that was 1, a total of 6. There's 2. 3. 4. 5. And 6. Once you have all 6, it'll look like that. Go ahead and pull the short side that's not connected to your yarn, and it will close this up, and it will look like that. And then round 1 is complete. Round 2, we are going to do 6 increases. So we'll do an increase in all 6 stitches, and we'll have a total of 12 stitches at the end of this row. Our first one of each new row is always going to go in where our stitch marker is. So go ahead and insert your hook where the stitch marker is. And then yarn over and pull through 2. Remove your stitch marker and place it in that single crochet that we just did. And then we're going to do 1 more in the same stitch. So right now you can see right here, that's where our first stitch is. So we're going to go ahead and insert in the same spot. There's 2 in the same stitch right there. Now we're going to come over to this one right here, and we're going to do 2 single crochets. So inserting, there's 1, and there's 2. Now going over to the next one, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, and then our last one right here, because you can see the next one is where our stitch marker is. So this is our last stitch right here. And there's 1, and there's 2. Now you should have 12 single crochets around. If you'd like to count, when you look on the top of it right here, you can see the little chains. We can count around and make sure we have 12. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12 where our stitch marker is. And that row is complete. If you take out your hook, you can go ahead and just insert it back in and then go ahead and pull it. And then you are good to go. Round 3, we're going to do 1 single crochet and 1 increase. We're going to repeat that 6 times. Then the parentheses right here, repeated 6 times. So at the end of this row, we're going to have a total of 18 stitches. So go ahead and insert where your stitch marker is. Every single row, your first stitch is going to insert right where that stitch marker is. You see that hole? It's kind of tiny and hard to tell. So we're going to do 1 single crochet where our stitch marker is, and then go ahead and remove your stitch marker. Place it in that single crochet that you just did. You can tell that we're in this one right here because it's kind of a bigger hole. So now we're going to jump over to this one right here, and we're going to do 2. There's 1 going in the same hole. There's 2. I'm going to repeat that all the way around, going in the next one. There's 1, and going in the next one, we're going to do 2. There's 1, and there's 2. Going in the next one, 1 single crochet, and the next one will have 2. 1 and 2. 1 single crochet, and then 2. 1 single crochet, and the next one will have 2. 1, 2, 1 single crochet, and then you can see our stitch marker right here. We've got one last stitch right here, so we're going to do 2 in that one. So here's 1, and then going the same stitch, there's 2. So at the end of this row, you should have 18 single crochets. Round 4, we're going to do 1 single crochet, 1 single crochet increase, and 1 single crochet. That's all in parentheses right here. We're going to repeat that 6 times, and we'll have a total of 24 stitches. So our very first one that we do, we've got 1 single crochet and then an increase and 1 single crochet. We're going to repeat that, so then we're back to 1 single crochet. So as I go around, you will see that I'm doing 2 single crochets, but it's because there's 1 at the beginning, 1 at the end, and they are next to each other when we are going in a circle. So let me go ahead and begin and show you what I'm meaning. So go ahead for your first one and insert right where your stitch marker is. There's our 1 single crochet. Place your stitch marker in that single crochet, and the next one will be an increase. So we're going to have 2 in it. There's 1 going in the same stitch. There's 2. So now going around, we're going to do 2 single crochets and then an increase in the next one. 2 single crochets and then an increase. So going into the next one, there's 1 single crochet, and then the next one, 1 single crochet, and then the next one will be an increase. It will have 2 in there. So there's 1, and going in the same stitch. It's really tiny, but make sure you're putting it into the same one. There's 2. And we're just repeating that around. So 1 single crochet in the next one, 1 single crochet in the next one, and then an increase in the next one, so we'll have 2. There's 1, and there's 2 single crochets. And then going around, 1 single crochet, going in the next one, 1 single crochet, and then an increase in the next one, 1, 2, 1 single crochet in the next one, and then 1 single crochet, and the next one I'll have 2. And 2. Now as you're going around, this should be pretty flat because of the way that we are increasing slowly. 1 single crochet, 2 single crochet going in the next one, and then this one will have an increase. 1, going in the same stitch, 2. And then our very last one before our stitch marker is just 1 single crochet because we did just 1 single crochet on our first stitch of that row, and that row is complete. Round 5, we are going to do 3 single crochets and then 1 increase. We're going to repeat that 6 times and have a total of 30 stitches at the end of this row. So our first one, insert where the stitch marker is, and do your first single crochet. Place your stitch marker in that single crochet that you just did. So that's our first one. We want to do a total of 3. Going in the next one, there's 2, and then go in the next one, there's 3, and then the next one's going to have an increase, so 2 stitches in that same one. There's 1, going in the same stitch, there's 2. Just going to repeat that around, so 3 single crochets and then an increase, so 1, going in the next one, 2, the next one, 3, and then an increase, so 2 in this stitch. There's 1, and there's 2. And again, 1, going in the next one, there's 2, and then the next one, there's 3. And then an increase, 1 and 2 in the same stitch. You can see our little circle is getting bigger with each row. 1, going in the next one, 2, the next one, 3, and then an increase. 1, 2, in the same stitch. 1, and the next one, 2, and the next one, 3, and then an increase. 1 and 2 in the same stitch. 1 and the next one, 2 and 3. We're to our last stitch right here. That one's going to have an increase. 1, 2 in the same stitch, and then you can see we are back to our stitch marker, and that row is complete. Round 6 through 10 will all be done the exact same way. I'm going to go ahead and show you how to do round 6. Then you can do round 7, 8, 9, and 10 on your own. we are going to be doing 30 single crochets. We'll have a total of 30 single crochets. So there will be no increases on round 6 through 10. So for our first one, go ahead and insert where your stitch marker is. There's our first single crochet. Remove your stitch marker and place it in that single crochet that you just did. That was 1. Going in the next one, there's 2. The next one, 3. 4. 5. 6. 7. 8. 9. 10. 11. 12. We're going to do that all the way until we get to 30. $29 and 30 stitches. And you can see now we are back to our stitch marker right here. So round 6 is complete. So we're going to just do the exact same thing for round 7 through 10. So just to begin round 7, I will show you, we're going to insert where our stitch marker is. Do our first single crochet and then place your stitch marker in that single crochet. And then you're just going to continue 1 stitch in each one around. Just like so. Round 11, we are going to do 3 single crochets and then 1 decrease. We're going to repeat that 6 times and have a total of 24 stitches. So to begin, go ahead and insert where your stitch marker is. For your first single crochet, remove your stitch marker and place it in that single crochet that you just did. We're going to do a total of 3. So that was 1, going in the next one, there's 2. Just want to stay on here. Let's try that again. There's 2. I'm going in the next one. There's 3. And now decrease. So to decrease, we are going to insert into the next one and pull up a loop, and then go ahead and insert into the next one, pull up a loop. We now have 3 loops on there. So we're going to yarn over and pull through all 3 loops. We're going to repeat that 5 more times. So go in 1, and the next one, 2, 3, and then decrease. So insert, pull up a loop, insert into the next one, pull up a loop, yarn over, and pull through all 3. We'll do that again. There's 1, 2, 3, and then decrease. So insert, pull up a loop, insert in the next one, pull up a loop, yarn over, and pull through all 3 of them. And then 3 single crochets, so there's 1, 2, 3, and then decrease. Insert, pull up a loop, insert, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through all 3. 3 single crochets, there's 1, 2, 3, and then decrease. Insert, pull up a loop, insert in the next one, pull up a loop, yarn over, and pull through all 3. Do it again. 1, 2, 3, and then a decrease in the last one. Insert, pull up a loop, insert in the next one, pull up a loop, yarn over, and pull through all 3. And that row is complete. Round 12, we are going to do 1 single crochet, 1 single crochet, decrease, and then 1 single crochet. We're going to repeat that 6 times and we'll have a total of 18 stitches. So for our first one, go ahead and insert where your stitch marker is. Place your stitch marker in that single crochet that we just did. And the next one's going to be a decrease. So insert, pull up a loop, insert in the next one, pull up a loop, yarn over, and pull through all 3. So now going around, we're going to do 2 single crochets because there's 1 single crochet before the decrease and 1 single crochet after. And then our very last one will just have 1 single crochet. So going around, we're going to do 2 single crochets. So here's 1 single crochet, going in the next one, there's 2, and then decrease. Insert, pull up a loop, go in the next one, insert, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through all 3. Repeated round. 1 single crochet, go in the next one, 2 single crochets, and then decrease. Insert, pull up a loop, go in the next one, insert, pull up a loop, yarn over, and pull through all 3. Repeated round. 1 single crochet, go in the next one, 1 single crochet, and then a decrease. Insert, pull up a loop, insert, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through all 3, and 2 single crochets. 1, 2, then decrease, insert, pull up a loop, go in the next one, insert, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through all 3, 1 single crochet, go in the next one, doing 1 single crochet, and then a decrease. Insert, pull up a loop, insert, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through all 3. And then this last one is just going to have 1 single crochet, and then we are back to the stitch marker, and that round is complete. For going on to round 13, I'm gonna go ahead and stick my eyes on so that I have a little bit more space to work right here. The eyes are gonna be between round 7 and 8. So starting from the top right here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 right here. So go ahead and insert your first eye and then put the back on it, just press it down on it. And then we're gonna count over 6 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then place your other eye, making sure that it's on the same line. And then you can go ahead and add the back to it. And push it down until you hear it click, and it will go over that little bump right there. And then your little eyes are complete. Round 13, we're going to do 1 single crochet, 1 single crochet decrease, and we're going to repeat that around until we have 12 stitches. So our first one, go ahead and insert where your stitch marker is for your first single crochet, and then remove your stitch marker and place it on that single crochet. And then the next one will be a decrease. So insert, pull up a loop, insert in the next one, pull up a loop, yarn over, and pull through all 3 of them. And then we'll go over to our next stitch right here and do 1 single crochet. And then we will do a decrease in the, so insert, pull up a loop, insert in the next one, pull up a loop, yarn over, and pull through all 3, and then 1 single crochet, and then a decrease in the next one. Insert, pull up a loop, insert in the next one, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through all 3, 1 single crochet, and then a decrease. Insert, pull up a loop, insert in the next one, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through all 3, 1 single crochet, and then a decrease. Insert, pull up a loop, insert in the next one, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through all 3, 1 single crochet, and then your last one will be a decrease. So insert, pull up a loop, insert, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through all 3. Now we're going to finish off the head, so go ahead and insert where your stitch marker is and pull it straight through and straight through. And then chain 1, pull it up a few inches, and then you can go ahead and cut it off. Stuff your head with the stuffing, and then set that to the side for just a bit.